Okay, good morning. Let's all rise up and let's open this morning assembly time with praise by praising God. So I want to invite Terin and also Gabi for the COG. And this song is I Am Friend of God.
Do you believe that tonight?
Can you skip some part in the beginning?
Oh, yeah.
Who am I that you are mindful of me? That you hear me when I call. Is it true that you are thinking of me? How you love me? It's amazing.
It's amazing. Who am I?
Who am I that you are mindful of me? That you hear me when I call. Is it true that you are thinking of me? How you love me is amazing.
Well, Lord, it's
Amazing. I'm a friend of God. I'm a friend of God. I'm a friend of God. He calls me friend. I'm a friend of God. 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 He calls me friend. Who am I that you are mindful of me? That you hear me when I call. Is it true that you are thinking of me? How you love me? It's amazing. It's amazing. Amazing. I'm a friend of God. I'm a friend of God. I'm a friend of God. He calls me friend. I'm a friend of God. I'm a friend of God. I'm a friend of God. He calls me friend.
so amazing, Lord, to me. So amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, this time let's proclaim I am five principles. So stretch your back and stand properly. Don't worry, I will give you points later. Okay, let's proclaim together. I am five principles. First, we hold to the five solas of Reformation as our doctrinal standards, according to the Reformed faith. Sola Scriptura, sola gratia, sola Christus, sola fide, soli Deo gloria. Second, our aim is to build each person as a missionary to accomplish their mission, for the goal of mission completion, in order to prepare for the coming of the Lord in the last day. Third, spread the history preschool and gospel redemptive perspective, kingdom of God perspective, covenant perspective, disciple, godly soul, godly behavior, godly life, calling, vision, vocation, evangelism, mission, church, and the end. Fourth, our mission is keeping the truth and giving the truth, training whole personal, whole life, whole direction of missionary, even the lives in the nation. Fifth, our principles of life will be equipped spirituality, equipped personality, equipped ability, share the gospel. You may be sitting. Okay, for Gabi and Terin who serve Seojing, I will give you 3 points each. Okay, guys, today is very special day. Do you know why? It's cold. What's your team? Usa, 1 point. Guys, it's really cold. You really need to wear your jacket well so that you can keep your body warm. And for me, I didn't bring my jumper to that house, and I took a car with this short clothes, and it was really cold. But guys, so please take care. This is the best day that you can catch a cold. And secondly, today is a new day that God has given you. Please write on your planner where, manage your time so that you can glorify God. Lastly, and for the busking team and Blin team, today you guys have smaller busking. So busking team will prepare after this one. And this time, please open your planner and prepare to write down the message from the speaker. If you don't have your planner, if you don't have your pen, and Jaeon, wake up. And if you don't have something, now is your time to go and bring it. Okay, I think you're ready. Okay, so this time I want to invite today's speaker. Today's speaker for the morning assembly. Do you know who he is? Andrew, are you a speaker? So this time I want to invite one of the awesome guy from the third court who is very good at public speaking. I've heard that he got the highest score in the public speaking among our third court. So this time we want to invite Andrew to the stage. Please give him a big hand.
Yes, good morning everyone. Yes, today I brought one chapter from our book 10 Commandments, and today's title will be God and the Family. Yes. For us, we are Christian, but regardless of our religion, we need to honor our parents, and we need to show our respect to them. So now I will share about it. Yes, when we know, and as a Christian, we all know that in 10 Commandments, we can divide into 2 sections. First is loving God, and for the second one is loving your neighbor, or simply we can say love other people. And for first one, we can say that from first one to first commandment, it is all about loving God, and from 5th to 10th is all about loving our people. And especially today's my title shows that it is all about 5th commandment, and now I will share about more deeply. Yes, in the Bible, as we see in the Old Testament, there was a punishment if they disobey to their parents. So in this book, they describe into 3 sections what punishment did they receive from God or from other people. First one is execute. It means if they didn't obey to their parents, or if they did some rebellion to their parents, they got executed. It means they are stoned and they are killed by other people. And for the second one is they got cursed from God. As we see in Genesis chapter 9 verse 20 to 27, it is all about the story of Noah and his son Ham. And when we see for Ham, he saw that his father was naked, but he didn't put some blanket to cover his body. So that's why he got cursed. So, and the last one is about disobedience. In the Matthew chapter 15, verse 39, it says that it's all about Jesus Christ and Pharisees. Jesus Christ rebuked them because for them they regard their parents to help and support them, but when they grew up and when they became old, they didn't regard their parents as a like valuable one, or they didn't respect them, and just they abandoned them and just let them live freely. So that's why these three things are punishment in Old Testament and New Testament. But for nowadays, if they didn't respect their parents, we never kill them or we never curse them. But in Old Testament and New Testament time, we can see that how it is important in their lives. Yes, to refresh this morning assembly's time, I brought one multiple choice question. Yes, question is, what is the reason that we need to keep this commandment? And there are four options. And do you know the answer? If you know the answer, I will give you some snack. I have Sprite and I can give it to you. If you can read it, you can read it and you can answer the question. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah, actually there was one more answer that I hide it, and the level of transparency was actually 94%. And, uh, there are actually, so she got the answer. So can you go back to previous slide? So anyway, these four things in this book, it emphasizes why we need to honor and respect our parents. So I want to share about more deeply. Yes. Can you go back? Yes, thank you. For first one is because of it's the basic unit in our social and also in our spiritual part as well. And I brought one picture. It is about some small stone tower. Like for me, I have an experience to go like temple in Korea because it's like famous one, and we visited for sightseeing. And whenever I go there, I can realize that there are some small like stone tower that people made it to like for their wish and for their willing. And when we saw, we can realize that our foundation is really important. If it is like, if foundation is for a small stone, we cannot make it higher than other people's like tower. So that's why our foundation is really important, and we can apply in our chapter as well. Yes, our respecting and honoring our parents, it should be our basic foundation, so that we can put another things such as our relationship with our friends or our relationship with other people as well. Yes, and for the second one is child need guidance. For some child, they thought that they can live by themselves, but as we know, they need guidance. And when we saw some child who are not well and uneducated, we can see that, and we can simply think that for a child, they are the face of their parent. So that's why through this one, we can know that for a child, still they need guidance for their parents and to their parents as well. And can you go back? Yes. And from here to next one, I cannot understand it, the reason, but I could think in this way. Like, it says that they owe to their parents, but I think it cannot be the reason, but in other way, if I think it, it means that they cannot find other reason to honor and respect their parents. So that's why they make even this kind of small reasons to honor and respect their parents. So while I was read book, I realized that, and I could find this society's perspective. So anyway, it says that they owe to their parents. So it means for parents, and when we think about our condition as well, like for parents, they send money to support us to come America and help us so that we can go to school. But it doesn't mean that they need to, and we need to pay to our parents. But yeah, this book says that we need to consider it and we need to know it. And for the last one is for the loving concern. It means just simply you can think in this way. For us, and though it's not matter of our age, but when we are young, we need our parents concern, and this is same for parents. If they grew up more and when we became adult, they need our loving concern as well. So we need to consider it. Yes. Can you go? Yes. But we have one excuse. But it does mean that we should disobey to our parents. But we need to consider it one question. As I shared it before, we have in Ten Commandments we can separate into two things, which is loving God and loving our neighbors. And for us, as you know, loving our neighbor and respecting our parents is in the second part. So it means if parents will and my will to love God is different, we should follow and we should choose to worship God. So that's the one thing what this book emphasizes. And we should make this excuse if our parents' will and our will are different. But except this situation, we should obey and we must follow the will of our parents. Can you go? Yes. And this book emphasizes that nowadays there was a restructure of the term of family for around 40 or 50 decades ago. There were a lot of people who live in together in one house. However, when we see recent house or recently their family, usually they live like 3 or 4 members. And yesterday, to check about and to search about these morning assemblies, further background, I realized that. Yes. Anyway, so recently they didn't marry and just they live it alone. But these books say, and as I share the 4 religions, it is all about our family and respecting our parents and honoring them. And this book emphasizes that if we respect our parents, it means we honor them. So we should think about it. And especially nowadays, we have social insurance system, so that's why we can support them without our any interest to our parents. So that's why nowadays they cannot feel the importance in the family. However, God already created in family, and God already tell us to obey our parents. So that's why we should follow God's will. And lastly, I wanted to ask you about your attitude toward your parents. This time I will not ask you about questions, but you should think and remind it by yourself. As this book say, our main title, it was all about respecting our parents. But I want to ask a question, whether you honor and respect your parents well. Because sometimes our parents and we are really close relationship than other people. So that's why we can do it freely. But it does mean that we should not respect them. And we always respect them. And for this time, I wanted to make some small decisions and apply it in your life. For us, every Saturday or Sunday, we have calling time. So before that day, I think around we have 3 to 4 days. So I think you can remind it by yourself. And when this week we start the calling, you can express your thankfulness to your parents. And for me, I always try to finalize my calling, that I always try to say that I love my parents, and I try to finalize it. So like this kind of small decision or small application, you can make it and you can apply it in your life. So today's title and today's chapter all about respecting your parents, and it's quite simple, and but this is the basic attitude as a Christian we need to have. So I hope that you can apply it in your lives. Thank you.
Okay, always let's remind that we need to respect our parents, and Andrew gave us a very good application. So you have 3 to 4 days before you have a calling time. So I want you to prepare, or I want you to prepare your word, and I want you to show your gratitude to your parents. So this time, let's all rise up. Let's proclaim our gear. Let's live. Okay, are you ready? I think you're not ready. Let's shout again. Are you ready? Are you ready? 50, 5,000. I am. Everything is possible in God. Aja.